Hello guys, welcome back to Custom Gamer. My name is Daz. This is the show where we talk about level design while playing cool maps. This is part 2 of Something Wicked This Way Comes by Tronyn, Tyrann and Necros. There you go, I got the names much better this time around. So, we're searching for the silver key, and I get a little bit lost around here unfortunately. This is one of the few instances where the map got a little bit confusing. It's mainly because there's actually a second door outside on the balcony where the silver key is. Unfortunately I missed it on my way through. I don't think it's really signposted too well. It's one of the only areas I got stuck in actually, so considering the size of the map, that's a pretty good job done there by the authors. So a quick bit of follow-up and errata from part 1 of the video. As lots of people pointed out, there's actually plenty of ways to kill zombies in this mod. The axe, you can use the axe to jib them. You can use the magic wand, which is a secret that I found in the start map. Unfortunately I don't have it here yet because of the way you have to record demos in Quake. You can't just carry on from a previous map and then start recording a demo. You have to reload the level to start recording a demo, so I don't actually have the wand in this playthrough yet. But if you charge the wand up fully, you can use that to jib zombies. And of course there was the fact that I actually did have a grenade launcher while I was dodging all those zombies, so I could have just killed them with that anyway. But yeah, I think the point still stands that just from a gameplay standpoint, having enemies that you can't kill until you accomplish some goal in the map, be that get a new weapon or activate some kind of device that hurts them or anything like that, just creates a little bit of interesting gameplay that's something a bit different than just walk into a room and annihilate everything. Another comment pointed out something interesting, that a lot of the enemies and models in the Drake mod are from Hexen 2. And, if you aren't familiar with the Hexen series, Hexen 2 was made using the Quake engine. I think it was released in 1996 as well, or maybe it was 1997, I'm not sure. The original Hexen was on the Doom engine. Basically the Hexen games, you could choose a character, be it, I think there was a wizard, a ninja and a warrior, something like that. There may have been 4 characters, I can only remember 3. But each one of these characters had different weapons, and their own combat styles. But a lot of the models and sound effects and enemies and things like that in the Drake mod actually come from Hexen 2. Various other sources. I believe these imps here are from Scourge of Armagon. So we've got more of those little plaques giving hints about what's going to happen. You'll notice here, like I was talking about in part 1, when you hit a button, enemies will teleport in that kind of catch your attention and make you go that way. So you noticed here, we activate that button and those scrags teleported in instantly, kind of grab the player's attention to come this way. It's a trick that's used a lot in the map. Generally, kind of environments in a lot of FPS games, not just Quake, but a lot of games tend to be very static, and if you put even a simple little thing like a monster teleporting in, it's just that little bit of movement that catches your eye. So here we've noticed a secret under the bridge. I'm going to go down there and get it. Of course I'm an idiot and can't even perform simple tasks in these games. But it lets me show you the, like I was raving on about in part 1 so much, is all these teleporters and secret passages you can open up that lift you back up to higher points in the map. This is one of them here. I believe I walked past this area in part 1 and that door was locked, and treading on one of the gear buttons opens it up for use. And that weapon I just picked up, the crossbow, it's essentially a one-hit kill weapon, but you have extremely limited ammo for it. So you have to kind of save it for very, very dangerous enemies, so typically things like shamblers and other things like that. Now this is where the map gets a little bit crazy. Believe it or not, this isn't the biggest pack of monsters you'll face on it either. I mean, I don't really mind this combat. I think it's quite fun to have suddenly hundreds of scrags come at you. There are a couple of points where it just gets very, very silly in this map. It's probably where most of these 690 enemies come from. It's just the thousands upon thousands of scrags that appear at certain points. But for the most part it's fun, and it's not particularly difficult. It just takes a long time to kill them all. A little bit of circle strafing and you can avoid practically all the damage. So again here we've got the enemies teleporting in front of the gold key door, and that was an excellent kill if I do say so myself. It just brings the player's attention to the correct route. Now of course it's not an infallible technique to get the player to go exactly where you want, because they could just ignore that completely. Such is the nature of games, I suppose. You can only do so much to guide the player around. If they really are going to be stubborn and stupid, there's not really much you can do about it, no matter how well designed your map is. So once again we are working to get higher up in the map, as that's where the exit is. The higher up we get, the closer to the exit we get, and the harder things become. I like the way he uses those plaques to denote things to the player that are important, because the player, you know, it gets them into the habit of it in the start map, reading all the plaques to get game hints and things like that. It kind of pre-programs players to do it. It's the same kind of thing in the Shadows Socks stealth mod for Quake, which I did a video of a couple of weeks back. It's a nice way of giving players objective in a Quake map, as there's not really a lot of tools you can have to directly tell players what to do. You know, just here we've got the arrow underneath the key that you pick up. More scrags. They are really fun to fight, but I just think that you know, the first time you have a whole bunch of scrags like this, it was quite fun, but the second time I really think there should have been something else to mix it up a bit, like perhaps have some enemies and some knights or something teleport into melee range as well, so you kind of have to do a bit of problem solving with how to deal with this new threat, the combined forces. I should have been a little bit faster picking up the rocket launcher there, but hesitated for a moment and paid the price for it, but there we go. One thing I'm not too keen on in this map is that a lot of the buttons and things like that seem to lack sound effects, and I just think it gives a nice bit of feedback to the player that he's activated something when you hear that lovely grinding sound of buttons going into metal that Quake does so well. It's amazing really, even like almost 20 years on, I think Quake still has some of the best sound effects in a first person shooter. It's just so satisfying. All the kind of gears grinding around and all the enemy sounds as well. Really fantastic stuff. Here we've got a section, in a moment anyway, we've got a section which seems to happen in a lot of games, especially id games, is that about halfway through the game, or perhaps slightly more, you'll get a section where you have these insanely overpowered guns, and the level designers see fit to just put a bunch of cannon fodder enemies in your way. It happens in Quake 2. I remember it a great deal in Quake 2, where you're fighting the you know, the simple little grunts with, and you've got things like rocket launchers and railguns and things like that, and you just absolutely mow through them. It's just like a single part of a certain level, but they seem to do it in all their games. It's just a lot of fun. That's what this section here reminds me of. You have this rocket launcher and you're just ploughing through hundreds of these, you know, little cannon fodder archers. Picking up lots of ammo for the crossbow, but I never even think to use it until around about the end of the map, where things get really crazy. That turned out to be a very wise decision, actually, as you'll see later on. These imps turn out to be really, really nasty in packs. I've lost most of my armour and health by this point, and yeah, they are not very nice. They dodge from side to side and up and down as well. If you're firing like streams of projectiles at them, they will dodge out the way. It makes it very, very hard to actually kill them from range. Once again, checking all the waterfalls in the map, because there's usually something behind them. Another cannon fodder section. I can see why designers do this. It's so much fun to just plough through a bunch of enemies with seriously overpowered weapons. I'm expecting something awful to happen in that corridor after what happened in the last one. I hate spiders. There's always spiders in games. Always. That would have been a great time to use the crossbow, but once again I've forgotten all about it, unfortunately. Another issue I had with that area is that you're in the middle of combat when the text comes up telling you that the demon door is opened, which is probably why I got a bit confused on this next section about where to go, because I was too busy focusing on the combat to see what the text said. Just a bit unfortunate, but hey, let's continue. If in doubt, just follow the trail of enemies. This is an interesting little mechanic on this pentagram on the floor here. Armour, ammo and weapons keep respawning if you stand around here. I use that a lot later on. Once again, opening up new ways upwards from below. That button there activates a secret. Don't worry, if you're worried about spoilers for all the secrets in this map, you have nothing to worry about, because I only find, I think it's maybe 4 or 5 of them out of the 30 that are here, so I don't think you've got anything to worry about. Now this is where things start heating up quite, things get very intense from this point onwards. I really like having the drolls on those faraway platforms. They're actually still really dangerous. Their projectile that they fire is really fast. So, and there's so many of them, it's just so much better to just back out. I like the way the respawning weapon platform there is set up, because there's no health, it just gives you armour and ammo. So it's not like a kind of cheap god mode for this map, it's you will still die by losing health. So I'm kind of panicking now. I've done the classic gamer mistake of when under duress just run into unknown territory. But it turned out to be a pretty fun experience. Turned out to be the correct choice, as there's a gold key. And that guy there is like a super archer, fires explosive bolts, can take a lot of damage. There you notice I just used one of the teleporters I opened up earlier to get back to the top. It's amazing really, this map would be so frustrating if there wasn't an easy way to get back up. Ugh, I think I probably would have rage quit. It's so important for big levels like this, because otherwise the player's just going to be backtracking for like minutes at a time trying to find the way back up there. These annoying imps dodging all my projectiles. I really like these kind of central spires just rising up out of the water there. It looks a lot like a very Tronyn style architectural element. I could be wrong. Just reminds me of his style. Get rid of him. And of course another waterfall, so you know exactly what we have to do. Turns out my spidey sensors bang on yet again. So I think that's the most amount of enemies I've ever seen teleporting during one trigger ever in my Quake playing career. And it's just unfortunate I don't have any more ammo to take them out any better. Though I've got to say that using the double barrel shotgun was extremely satisfying here. Watching the gibs fly. Now I've done the unthinkable and used jib and gib in the same video, so that's probably going to start an argument now.